So the Xiaomi Amazfit 2, also known as the Stratos, is the best product that Xiaomi has ever created, but I still hate it, and here's why. So if you want to know what the best budget phone, laptop, tablet, smartwatch, why not subscribe to my channel? It's free. So the Amazfit Stratos, also known as the Amazfit Pace 2, is the updated version of the old Amazfit Pace, but there is one big difference. The Amazfit Stratos starts at almost $200 on various websites and goes up to $230 on others. It features a bunch of improvements from the old Amazfit, including better water resistance, improved heart rate tracking, and NFC, which is big. Now, is the Amazfit Stratos good enough to justify almost doubling the price of the old Amazfit and even tripling the price of the Amazfit BIP? Well, let's find out, and don't forget to subscribe if you like to save money. The body of the watch is made of carbon fiber with a metal chrome finish around the Gorilla Glass 5 screen, and one advantage to a carbon fiber body, it does not freeze your hand off in cold weather, which I appreciated, especially in Canada. You have 3 hardware buttons on the side and either a rubber or a leather strap, which is replaceable. And at the bottom, there is the heart rate sensor and the charging pins. The watch is also water resistant up to 50 meters, meaning water will not enter the watch as long as the water pressure is under 50 meters. However, be careful because this does not take into account ocean water or moving the watch around in water, which increases the pressure felt by the watch. That being said, you're definitely okay for showering or swimming. Now, do you remember when I said I hated this smartwatch even though it was awesome? Well, the reason why is because it's so big. My wrists are pretty small. It's about 7 inches or 18 centimeters in diameter, and the average man's wrist size is about 8 inches or 22 centimeters in diameter. And this watch is just so big on my wrist that my wrist starts to hurt when the buttons dig into my wrist kind of like this. And it's bad enough that I have to take this off. That being said, I am left-handed and you won't have this problem on the right hand because the buttons are facing the other way. Now, are your wrists bigger or smaller than my wrist? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, how much do you know about transflective displays? Many people who see this type of display think it looks really horrible. I mean, compared to an LCD or an AMOLED, it's not vibrant, but the advantage of this screen over this screen is that you do not need a backlight. There currently is no backlight on both these watches. It is just natural lighting bouncing off the surface of the watch, and then you can see what the pixels are showing. However, if it does get too dark, you can turn the backlighting on and you will be able to see it much better. Now, battery life here is a little bit worse than the older Amazfit Pace. I could get around 4 days of mixed use instead of 5 days on the older Amazfit Pace. If GPS is not on, it drops about 1% per hour, and if GPS is on, then it drops about 2% within half an hour, which was what I had when I went for this half-an-hour run. It is fine battery life, but it's definitely a little bit worse than the older Amazfit Pace and way worse than my Amazfit BIP, where I could get almost 20 days if I wanted on this watch over here. Now let's talk about the watch software. The Amazfit Stratos is a lot faster and more responsive than the older Amazfit Pace and the Amazfit BIP. I really like it a lot more, but there are some areas where the watch still lags. For example, if I'm hitting settings, and you can see it lags a little bit. Unfortunately, it's still in Chinese and you cannot switch it to English just yet. If you want the English version, you'll either have to wait until March or install English yourself. So I finally understand why Amazfit made it so you can navigate through the entire UI without touching the screen itself. And that's because the screen does not work underwater, so you need to use the buttons here to navigate through everything. Left and right to go left and right, and the middle button to select, and then you long press the middle button to go home. So you don't actually have to touch the screen at all when you're underwater. You can just press the buttons and it will continue working. So that's actually some pretty good thinking, Xiaomi. Let me go through the major features of the watch. First, you can look at weather, and the weather is pretty detailed. And when you tap, you can look at the detailed weather for that specific day. And next, you are able to store music on the watch and play music from the watch without your phone, which is pretty cool. And you can also measure your heart rate. You can pay using NFC using Alipay, but it does not support Apple Pay or Android Pay, which is very disappointing. And you can use a stopwatch, which is quite useful, especially with these hardware buttons over here. And you can also control your Mi devices from the smartwatch, which is very nice because then there is Mi Home integration into the Amazfit Stratos. You can also receive notifications on the watch, and you can dismiss them as well, but you cannot reply to them, which is a little bit sad. But that being said, you should be able to receive notifications for pretty much anything. and the notifications window is much improved from the first generation Amazfit Pace and the Amazfit Bip as well. So a lot of people were asking about GPS performance, and I have to say it's actually very good and very accurate. If you look over here, this is exactly the route I took, and if you zoom in far enough, you can see that this is not a straight line. You can see that it actually records where I turned and the little aberrations in the line that shows where I've turned left and right and didn't actually walk in an exact straight line. So I'm very impressed with the GPS here. And the other thing to note is that it also actually records the heart rate at each point of your run, and it shows that in color. So green means that my heart rate was low and red means it was high, and correspondingly you can see where I was running and where I was just walking and my heart rate dropped. I am also so impressed by how much information this watch captures. There is also so much information for you to use and to analyze and to improve your health regimen, and there even is a speed graph that shows you how fast you were going over the time of the exercise. All this stuff is actually pretty useless to me because I am a lazy bum, but if you are an exercise nut or you're a health nut, this is the watch for you. There is also sleep tracking, but if you can sleep with this massive watch on your wrist, you are a champion. I cannot do it. I'm going to be honest, this is the best smartwatch Amazfit has ever produced, and I think it's so useful for specific types of people. Number one, it's great for health nuts, and if you exercise and you need some detailed information about each and every exercise. And number two, if you have massive wrists. I think if you fit the two criteria, it's worth the $200. But if you don't, go get the Amazfit Bip. It's $60 and you can check the link in the video up above. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and if you want more cheap and good phones, tablets, laptops, smartwatches, why not subscribe? It's free. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.